Welcome everyone, and before we start, we have a few things. I have a few things to say. First of all, the Japanese Grand Prix. Sadly, I was not able to record it due to technical issues. It was another, dominant performance from Renault and, well, the championship really. This is how it looks like after the Japanese Grand Prix. I'll give you guys, a minute to look at it. Constructors wise, Alpine, if they score 30 points or more, mathematically they're champions of season 2. They're untouchable. No one can catch up to them. George Russell, he won in Japan after getting pole, so that was, that made it 2 races where he managed to get, the Grand Slam. However, today we're in Malaysia, a new circuit on the calendar, Kuala Lumpur. So let's get into qualifying. Malaysia is known, renowned for its unpredictable weather, its conditions changing. Russell, just like the last 2 qualifying sessions so far, he's in a league of his own so far. Looks like George Russell will take pole position. Second place though, it's really close between Sainz, Leclerc and Verstappen. It looks like though, last time out starting P2 was Max Verstappen, this time out starting P2 Carlos Sainz. Then third place Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen P4, Sergio Perez P5, Pierre Gasly P6. Alexander Albon, he manages to outqualify his teammate Lando Norris, more experienced teammate Lando Norris, as Lewis Hamilton sits between the 2 McLarens and Ocon rounds off the top 10. Mick Schumacher P11, Aitken P12, Tsunoda and Ilott, they'll be on row 7 with both Red Bulls, row 8, both Ferraris row 9, and both AlphaTauris row 10, from 13th all the way to 20th. We have like a Noah's Ark order, 2 by 2. But anyways, we get into the Grand Prix. 5 lights are up in this wet race. Lights out and away we go. Here in Malaysia. It's a good start from George Russell. Sainz is also there. He's down the inside. Ooh, but Russell coming out of the first complex. He manages to keep the lead though. Going into turn 4. Carlos Sainz now inherits the lead. Behind the top 3, we can see Verstappen and Perez and Gasly all battling for P4. Driver of the season this year is going to be so tricky, honestly. Sainz, he has the lead, but for how long? Leclerc's going to try and drive around the outside. I think Leclerc's got the move done. Yes, he has. Further back though, Pierre Gasly having both, Force Indias right on his tail. There we see the battle between Sainz and Russell. It looks like Russell's managed to take P2. But we know Sainz, he's not one to give up. Especially with the rule changes, in 2 seasons' time next year, of course. Alpine, they are the favorites. Whether Alpine will just, sit there and, bathe in their pride, next year and keep on upgrading, or whether they'll, save the money and their resource points for the next season. We'll soon find out. I mean, if they do... But Russell, he goes down the inside of Leclerc, takes P1. Leclerc, though, he's still there. Around the outside, Leclerc takes P1. And Sainz, he drives around the outside of Sergio Perez. But anyways, as I was saying, if Alpine do decide to stop upgrading for next year, that definitely leaves the door open for a new team to dominate in, next season. Sainz, he gets closer to Leclerc. He's gonna have a look, definitely. He's gonna try around the outside, but no. George Russell now, he knows what he has to do in the next few races. As long as he can stay near Leclerc, even beat him, which is even better. He knows he's got the championship in his hand. Leclerc, really, he's the one who's on the back foot. He knows he has to produce. Otherwise, he's not going home with a championship. Last year, we saw Max Verstappen do that terrific comeback, from like race 6 to race 14. He was just on fire. Carlos Sainz though is pitting. Sainz is pitting. That's interesting, Risky, but interesting. Who else is pitting? Looks like Aitken and Ocon. They've also pitted. No, not Aitken. Albon. That's interesting, I think they're gonna push. They're gonna really push on these tires. Russell now heading up to the hairpin. Carlos Sainz battling with Pierre Gasly. That's not what he would have wanted. Now, all of the top drivers, they're all pitting. Has Sainz managed to get the undercut? He lost time battling with Pierre Gasly? No. If anything, he will stay P3, maybe even lose P3. No. He remains in P3. It was a good idea, it was a risk worth taking. But getting held up behind Pierre Gasly, that really did not help his cause. Looks like everyone's pitted. Everyone's pitted for some new wets. Max Verstappen though gaining on Sainz. He's gonna go around the outside. That's brave. No, he doesn't make it stick though. He's gonna try again around the outside. You can see that straight line speed. Verstappen breezes past Carlos Sainz. And Verstappen keeps P3. Now at the top, Leclerc is gonna go down the inside of Russell. Manages to make the move stick. That was brave. He had to get the elbows out there. Russell, however, has a lot more hours to use. Now, maybe in the next lap, we may be moving to dry tires. But rain is always on the horizon here at Sepang. You can never count out the rain. It's going to be really, really interesting though. Leclerc with the lead. Russell, P2. Sainz, P3. Verstappen, P4. Perez, P5. That's our top 5. Lewis Hamilton is the first driver to pit for the dries though. Hamilton, Gasly. It's none of the front runners. Ocon, Aitken, they're on the hards. It is now time for the dry tires. Imagine though if it was one of the front runners, maybe a Sainz, maybe a Verstappen, maybe even a Perez. As Mazepin gets in the way. Imagine if it was one of those drivers pitting for the dry tires. That would really challenge the top guys. Leclerc though, he comes out P1, Russell P2, Sainz P3, Verstappen P4, Perez P5. Hamilton though has managed to jump Lando Norris. But if you've pitted for the softs, personally I think you're gonna have to make another stop. At the back though, we can see the two Red Bulls fighting it out. Look at them, Ricciardo and Bottas battling for 16th and 17th. That Red Bull has so much potential. It's not been upgraded since last season. Could they be the team dominating once the new rules, once they're out? Mazepin though doing a really horrible job for the front runners when they try to lap him. It just gets in the way. However, Verstappen dispatches Mazepin fairly easily and gets past Sainz also easily. If we know something about Sainz though, and that is he does not give up. He'll keep pushing. Sainz is gonna try it. Russell, Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, and Norris. I think they could all go to the end. Hamilton's now pitted for the hards, so he's definitely going to the end. There it is. Verstappen gets past Sainz. But now, it's definitely turned into a two-horse race. Definitely. Leclerc, whether he'll win, I don't know. He's pitting now. What tires will he go with? I think... Can I see some soft tires? Yes, I can. He goes out onto the softs. He will come out behind Sergio Perez. So he slots in 5th place. He dispatches Perez fairly easily. Sainz, I don't think it will be as easy. Round the outside, never mind what I said. This is the lap which is gonna either, win Leclerc the race, or equally lose him the race. What's Verstappen gonna do? It's been a really good outlap up to this point for Charles Leclerc. And with Verstappen, just understeering off the track, that really helps him. Now, Leclerc's teammate comes in. George Russell, so Leclerc. It looks like he's definitely in the sweeter spot for the race win. Yeah, it looks like the top 5, they are solid. Hamilton once again comes out in front of Lando Norris. Behind Lando Norris though, there is a bit of a gap to Pierre Gasly. The last few races, Pierre Gasly, he's been flying high, he's been the driver on form. There's Perez, he's gonna try and move on Carlos Sainz. And Perez makes it stick round the outside. Stroll though, does not help Perez's cause. Look, Sainz is gaining on him. But he can't do anything. He thought about the inside, but thought better of it. The gap between Leclerc and Russell, 5.1 seconds. Surely Charles Leclerc cannot bottle it from here on in. And it definitely does look like, with 1 lap to go, 1 lap and a bit to go, that Alpine will be crowned Season 2 Constructors World Champions, even with a few races to go. However, the more juicier battles is between Carlos Sainz and George Russell. Look at not Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc and George Russell. Look at Russell's tyres though, they're nearly gone, 50 pence piece. The gap is 3.9. Rain coming soon. I said rain is always on the horizon. Here is Sepang. Now Russell, he has no car between Leclerc and himself. Leclerc runs slightly wide. Leclerc has 1 more corner and that's the hairpin. That's the corner which is going to win him or lose him the race. He goes deep. Russell, is he gonna get it? Is he gonna get it? Russell steals the win on the final corner. Oh, what a race. Verstappen, P3 as the rain comes down. Carlos Sainz, P4. Sergio Perez after lapping Yuki Tsunoda on the line, P5. Lando Norris, P6. It looks like he managed to dispatch Lewis Hamilton, who finished P7. P8. Looks like Pierre Gasly is going to be Alexander Albon. Is he? This is the corner. Yeah, I think he's done it. Pierre Gasly beats Albon to it. Esteban Ocon P10. Jack Aitken P11. Mick Schumacher P12. Nico Hulkenberg P13. Callum Ilott P14. Yuki Tsunoda P15. Daniel Ricciardo P16. Valtteri Bottas P17. We saw that little scrap from the two Red Bulls. AlphaTauri of Lance Stroll P18. Robert Schwarzman P19 and Nikita Mazepin P20. Championship now looks like this. There's a massive gap, honestly. Massive. Between Leclerc and Russell. Lando Norris, I think if he just keeps on, having even mediocre races, I think he'll secure P3. Sergio Perez, that's going to be tricky between him and Verstappen. We know Verstappen, especially end of the season. He loves a little run. Any other close battles? Hamilton, Gasly, yeah, that's fairly close. Hulkenberg, Ilott, and Tsunoda, and Ricciardo. That's definitely close, and the battle for last between Mazepin and Schwarzman. But now, ladies and gentlemen, there it is confirmed. Apple Alpine, they have managed to officially become Season 2 Constructors World Champions. Season 1 went to AlphaTauri. Believe it or not. Season 2, now Apple Alpine. Who will it be Season 3? I guess you could say Alpine are definitely the favourites, but before we even get to Season 3, we have to finish off this season. It's a close battle between McLaren and Force India. Second and third. Battle for 4th and 5th though. It's super close between Williams and Alfa Romeo. Look at that. 3 points is what separates them. But Mercedes, 19 points away from Alfa Romeo, 22 points away from Williams. Don't count them out. Haas, well, they've secured P7. P8, I think P8, 9, and 10, that's all done with, unless anything significant happens. 2 races to go. That's all, there we'll see whether George Russell or Charles Leclerc will become world champion. Thanks for being with us. Goodbye.